I think we're live already, honestly.
No, I think so. I think we hot.
I think the mic is hot. The rule is the mic is always hot. Pretty sure them's the rules, right? That's what they'll say. Them's the rules.
I think we could talk to Mel. Mel about to put the headphones on.
Mel got to put the headset on. Once the headset is on, then we know it's real. Then we know it's actually live.
Can you hear me?
Actually happening. Actually things going on. You never know until she tells you. She's giving you the thumbs up. That's usually a good sign.
The thumbs up? That means we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, we haven't. I don't know if we got the official thumbs up yet, but I think people may see us online. So what's up to people online?
Yep, they got us.
Hello, everybody. That's the camera. That's what they can see. I got to make sure I'm looking at the right camera. Okay, that was a rookie mistake. That was a veteran one.
I expect more. You've been in the game for 15 years.
I've been doing this for a minute. That's for sure. But you know what I'm doing today that I've never done before, and I'm pretty excited about? Hosting a draft party for a draft pick.
There we go.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. A young man named Ollie Gordon, superstar running back.
Yep.
One very, very lucky and smart team will be drafting him today. Hopefully it will be my Chicago Bears, baby. That's all I got to say. We know a little something about running the damn ball. We like to run the damn ball in Chicago. That's what we like to do.
Ollie Gordon is shot.
Ollie Gordon himself. Keith, I think our girl is troubleshooting, but I think everybody can still see as well.
Yeah, they can see us. They can hear us.
We got Caitlin Speck in the house. Shout out Caitlin.
Jersey, show the people the jersey. What's the jersey? Turn around. What's the jersey? What's the jersey?
Oh yeah, we got an Israel Adonijah jersey.
A classic.
Oh my God.
If y'all are listening, you in the Chicago area, shouldn't they stop by Signature Chicago?
They should. If you're in the Chicagoland area, you know where you should be watching the draft. You should be watching the draft at Signature or Staley's. One of the two restaurants. Those are the best restaurants in Chicago.
Yep.
That's definitely where you should be watching the draft. And you should go on by and tell Izzy, Paige, Dimakos, and Keith Sanchez from the Draft Club sent you. You may or may not get a Superman shot because your girl came up with that.
Yep.
Your girl came up with that. And there may or may not be a superstar that just walked into the house.
Mr. Ollie Gordon.
Mr. Ollie Gordon, baby.
Give it up for Mr. Ollie
Gordon back in the house. Back in the house in his purple, looking good, looking fresh. I know the people on camera and behind the scenes, they know what's going on. Our boy looks like a superstar, I gotta say.
He's ready to rock. All right,
our boy looks like a superstar. I'm ready to start the show,
Let's
baby.
Start the show. All right,
I'm ready to start the show.
Listen, I'm looking at the timer. We have 29 minutes and 40 seconds and counting into the NFL draft. Day 2, right? And
Day 2.
And we had some fireworks yesterday, right? We had Jackson Dart jump into the first round. We had a couple guys we weren't expecting to jump into the first round. We had some guys we expected that fell out of the first round. But I think this is Draft Club. We have to start with bold predictions, right?
Yeah,
Let's start with bold predictions. Paige Dimakos, I'm tossing it to you. I know you're ready for the moment.
I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to turn the music down in this place so that way everybody can actually hear us. Because I know right now it's pretty difficult to turn the music down. That's my girl. I know my girl Mel got me because the music is too loud in here. We need to be able to hear our lovely voices. So everybody that's watching behind the scenes, to the viewers that are watching online, we love you. We appreciate the shit out of you. Let me just say that. 600 people watching and counting. Somebody who's watching this, hit me with an Instagram DM. That's at @the_sports page, and you are going to get a first edition Draft Club t-shirt that is coming by via Lori Dimakos, my mother. She delivered. That is something that I can assure you everybody in this world will want. So we are currently live for Red Tail. Live for Red Tail at Resorts World. Having a good time, getting ready to host Ollie Gordon's draft party. Whether he goes tonight or tomorrow, the smart decision would be to have him go tonight. The Chicago Bears, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Chicago, and I hope you get it done. I hope you make me happy.
I hope so.
I hope you make me happy.
You didn't talk about this. How did you feel about the Chicago Bears going with Coach, adding another playmaker?
I'm excited about what the Bears did, only because you know that Ben Johnson likes to run a 2 tight end set.
Yeah, yep.
You've seen what he did for Detroit.
And Sam Laporta.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if Ben Johnson can make Detroit good,
oh my God.
Hey, out here. If Ben Johnson,
this kind of a shot at Detroit, right? This is about to be a somewhat backhanded compliment, but go with it.
Okay,
go with it.
Keith Sanchez, true or false? Was Detroit for the first time ever In the history of the franchise, a Super Bowl favorite this last year? Yes or no?
It was the first time ever. Yes,
Ever.
It was.
Okay, what does that mean? That they stunk with a capital S. They were horrible. They were absolutely garbage. Okay, for the most of my entire life. So the fact that Ben Johnson is coming to Chicago now means I have faith in the Chicago Bears offense for the first time in my entire grown-up life. Actually, my whole life. So I'm excited for the offense, and it'd be way better if Ollie Gordon was in it too.
I'm excited for you, because I want to see you happy. I want you
want me to be happy
those Monday mornings. Yeah, and then, because you see and you're kind of sad, right? Because Saturday you go through it's the cycle, right?
I go through the cycle of fandom.
Yeah, the Sunday they lose, right? Then Monday and Tuesday you're like, you know what? I'm out on this team. Wednesday you buy into it. Thursday you look at the schedule and say, hey, you got a shot. By Friday, you back locked in, right?
Yeah.
And so I want you to be able to finish those moments.
Yeah.
And not to have the low moments.
Here's the thing. Ryan Poles, baby. Mr. Poles, I'm talking to you, directly to you. And I'm going to turn this into a Chicago Bears show so fast.
Yeah, you
But you know what the thing is? The Bears have 2 picks very early on.
Okay.
They got 2 picks very early on, and you take care of those 2 picks, and then you come back around that 3rd round and take care of that running back position. And I'm going to feel pretty good about it. But I want to start off, you said the bold prediction thing. And I didn't get to it.
Yeah, you didn't get to it.
I didn't get to it. So
let's do this. You want to take a shot?
Yeah, I do want to take a shot.
Not a shot, but
let's take a sip.
Toast.
Let's take a
let's
sip.
Toast to it, and let's get the show started.
Yeah, let's toast to Fletcher Azul.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you watching on the stream, I hope you're drinking at home, baby. I hope the chat is having a good time, and I hope everyone's having a good draft. Hope everybody.
I should probably put like an orange. Put a little mango twist to that next time.
Why?
Just to kind of add a little different twist.
You need a flair?
Yeah, need a little flair.
He needs a little something.
Yeah, need a little something. So orange, mango, something like that. I'm with it. But let's jump into your bold prediction. Let's have some fun.
Bold prediction. My bold prediction is that Shedeur Sanders will not be the next quarterback off the board.
Wow. Okay, so
I think this is actually. I don't even think it's that bold. I think it's actually going to happen.
Who do you think the next quarterback?
I think that Tyler Shaw is the next.
You think Tyler Shaw?
I think Tyler Shaw is the next quarterback, and I think it's going to happen that the New Orleans Saints are going to take him. I think that is the next quarterback that is going to be drafted. I do not think it's going to be Shedeur Sanders, and that's my bold prediction.
We got to get into this.
Yeah.
And you got to start with why. Why show Tyler Shuck over Shedeur Sanders, over Jalen Milroe on those guys? What is your gut telling? Because I know that may not be your rankings, right?
No, this is not what I would do. This is based off of some intel, some information that both myself and shout out to Jamie Eisner behind the scenes, our COO, who hit me with the intel here. This is some pretty good intel. That this is a guy that they really like. You can kind of tell they're giving it away a little bit. They keep showing him on the broadcast in Scottsdale, Arizona. Shout out to Scottsdale, baby. Shout out to Scottsdale. So living a good life, Mr. Tyler Shubb. But I think the reality is something here we need to find out about what's going on with Shedeur. Because there's something more than what we know. We were at that Colorado Pro Day. We both are firm believers in him, but I think obviously there is, whether that's coaches that are afraid of Dion and his personality and what he brings to the table, or him overshadowing them. I definitely think that played a factor in New York. And quite frankly, I think the Saints are very excited about Tyler. So I think this is what they're going to do.
So I like Tyler. I just disagree with the order if he gets drafted next, right? And I like Tyler. The proven stuff that we've seen from Shedeur Sanders, right, over a long period of time, the stuff we've seen from Jalen Milroe, him playing in the SEC, those would probably be, I would lean towards those because I think those have a higher percentage to hit, right, at the end of the day. So that's what I would look at. The Saints are so tricky, though. But you know what? You look at what their head coach, Kellen Moore, has dealt with, right? You look at, he had Dak Prescott, which, 5 years ago, Dak was a semi-decent athlete, right? Maybe not so much now. Justin Herbert, right, which is a pretty solid athlete. And then he had Jalen Hurts this year. He's a pretty good athlete. So that's why I sit there and I think, I'm like, you know what? I can see them falling in love with him.
Of course.
And then I can also see them drafting him and sitting him, and this being Spencer Rattler, a young man who you've been known for a while. And then we've gotten to sit down and talk to him at 100%. The Senior Bowl. I can see them handing the keys over to Spencer Rattler this year. The Derek Carr situation is by far.
Yeah, the Derek Carr situation, quite frankly, is a shit show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really a better way to describe what's going on. Came about very last second, right? And honestly, I think it's it's fishy for sure on for a lot of reasons. But I'm telling you, I don't. This isn't something I like. This isn't something I am happy about. This is something I think is going to happen. That's it. And it's just based off of intel. And it's based off of intel that both myself and shout out to Jamie Eisner behind the scene they have.
Okay, and I trust your intel. I know you do the work, right?
We do the work. Especially Eisner, he's a grinder.
Yeah, he does.
This is his time of the year. He's on the keyboard. Ain't nobody typing faster than Jamie Eisner this time of the year, baby.
Getting the job done. All right, you went bold prediction.
What's your bold prediction?
Listen, I don't have the insider information like you guys do, right? Like I'm new to the media, so all I do is watch the film, right? I'm a big WTF guy, a WTF guy. But when I look at it, I'm gonna say this. I think we have, because we get 2 rounds, right? We get round 2 and round 3. I think we have 8 running backs go off the board. I think there's a complete run.
8 running backs off the board? That's what you think is gonna happen?
Run on running backs, because we got 2 yesterday, right? And we still, because there's so many versatile running backs, right? Like you have your smaller guys like your RJ Harveys, your Trevor Etienne's, your Dylan Sampsons, and then you got guys, the big boys, like our guy Ollie Gordon, who's sitting in here.
You got big boys, like the big dog that's sitting right over there.
Like the big dog.
Shout out to the big dog, Ollie Gordon, that's sitting right over there.
We have him, and you got your Quinshawn Judkins, right? I think teams are going to opt, especially you think about teams like the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Of course.
The Denver Broncos need a running back. So many teams need running backs that opted for other positions. I think this is the sweet spot where they find the value in the running backs, and we see the running backs fly off the board.
I like 8 running backs off the board
today. 2 rounds, baby. They roll
in 2 rounds. 2 rounds. Let's go. I like the over/under. Hit the over, baby. Let's go. Let's go over. I think what we've learned about football this year, and hopefully nobody forgets it, a balanced offense is a good offense.
Yep.
A balanced offense is an offense that's going to get it done in the Super Bowl, and winning without a superstar running back is very hard.
Yeah, it
is.
And
Saquon Barkley proved that this year by running all over the league, going for 2,000+ yards and really proving that, you know what, the value of the running back is not devalued. The Detroit Lions have proven that. 100%. There's a lot of teams that have, and there are a lot of good running backs this year that are coming out in this class, but obviously we're very excited about our boy Ollie that's sitting with us today.
Yeah, 100%. Let's do this. Let's pivot back to quarterbacks.
Yep.
We talked Shador a little bit. You mentioned Tyler Show.
Who else?
Is there a quarterback that sits day 2, right? Because there is history of running backs not going in the first round that are being successful. You talk about Dak Prescott. You talk about Brock Purdy. You have Jalen Hurts, right? You have plenty of quarterbacks, right, that have not went in the first round that are successful. So I want to ask, is there a quarterback still on the board that's sitting there that you like, you know what, I'm pushing all of my chips into the middle of the table for?
This quarterback that's on the board right now, y'all did the best thing you could do for him. You put a chip back on his shoulder, and that's Jalen Milroe.
You think so?
Jalen Milroe is a kid that I cannot speak highly enough of character-wise. Great family, great person, great kid, and he enjoys. Jalen Milroe loves people telling him he can't do something. He can't play quarterback. He can't do this. He can't do that. He played quarterback where? The University of Alabama at a pretty high level.
Yep.
At a pretty high level. And Jalen is the kind of guy that, just like Jalen Hurts, where somebody didn't believe in him, drafted him a little later round. I believe in Jalen Milroe, the kid. And I think he will do whatever it takes to make himself a starter in this league. And that's why I think of all the quarterbacks available, if I was betting on one to make it happen, besides Shador, it's him.
It's him. I know, and I feel the same way with Jalen, just all of the mental part, the grind, how he holds himself to a high standard.
Yeah,
right?
and that's important. But for you with the tape, right? I want to ask you something very specifically, because we know the character part, but we've talked about this with Anthony Richardson and the differences of what worked then that didn't work now. Well, the NFL's inconsistent. Let's throw that to the side. What did you see from Jalen Milroe, not only this year but last year, that gives you faith that he can do it at the next level?
Well, because he's done it before. Yeah. And nobody can sit there and say, look at Jalen Milroe, whether it was this year or last year, and say there wasn't high-level flashes and high-level moments to where he drilled that 15-yard out route, right? He drilled that comeback. He threw the deep ball on the money. Like he's made all of the throws and high-level moments. I mean, just flashback to what we talking about October, right? When he was playing Georgia, you thought Jalen Milroe was going to pick 101, right? Like he was going to be the first guy off of the board. And then you look at the games like against my LSU Tigers when he ran for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. He
100%.
did that back-to-back years, right?
100%.
So I just think that he's shown that he can do it. Now it's just, okay, who is the team that's going to get the job done to be able to pull it out of him more consistently, right? And I think another thing that's not talked about, Alabama wasn't Alabama.
No.
Point blank period. Because we're used to
what first round receivers?
Wide receiver. Thank you. And they always have first round wide receivers. There's probably been a run where there have been close to wide receiver you, because LSU is always wide receiver you, by the way. But they've been close to it because they put the Amari Coopers, the Jerry Judys, the Calvin Ridleys, the Devontae Smiths, the Jalen Waddles, you can just keep the Jameson Williams, the John Mechie's, right? There are none this year. I don't think there's an Alabama wide receiver that will be drafted this year, right? You might have 2 tight ends, and that's it. Running backs. Remember the times where Alabama had so many good running backs.
They had first rounders behind first rounders.
Thank you. The Derrick Henrys, the Najee Harrises, the Alvin Kamara was there and had to transfer out of there, right? Mark Ingram's, Eddie Lacy's. It's just not the same talent pool. And so I think everybody's judging them based off of what was in the past. And Jalen Milroe might have had to put more on his back than any other Alabama quarterback over the past 10 years.
I mean, he had the added pressure of the change from Nick Saban, right? And, like he signed up to play for Nick Saban, right? And that's no knock on Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer, I really like as a coach, but the change from Saban to Kalen DeBoer, that was a big change too.
So this is what I don't know.
That was a big change too.
And I appreciate Kalen DeBoer.
Can I have 1 second though, quickly? Shout out to the Gordon family that just walked out and walked in here. They're wearing purple. They're all wearing purple. I know Mel is behind the scenes showcasing this, my girl. And when we go live, you guys will see it. We're gonna bring Ollie on stage with us later on to do an interview, but we have to give him a little love.
Yeah, no, 100%.
We have to a little tease. We'll pay the tease off later, chat. We'll pay the tease off later. You will get to see him. You will get to see the draft day fit. You're not gonna see it now, but you will see it later. You will see it later.
100%. We're talking Jalen.
Right? We're talking about Jalen Milroe and the switch up to Nick.
The point I was going to say with the switch up to Nick Saban, I don't particularly like that people give Kalen DeBoer a pass for last year.
I don't like
Meaning
it either.
that why couldn't have been a learning curve for him also, right? Him understanding the team and what to do and calling the right plays, the right moments. Because there were times where he was flat out swimming, right?
Yeah.
And when you have an athlete like Jalen Milroe, when does it trigger for you to be like, you know what? We're in a tight game. We need to run the football. And we need to run the football with our quarterback just to kind of provide some type of consistency.
Oh, consistency on offense.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that wasn't the case. So I look at it and I say, I think obviously Alabama fell short of expectations. You have a 12-team playoff and you don't even make the playoffs.
No.
You fall short of the Alabama standard. But I think that some of the responsibility needs to be spread across the board.
Of course.
And right now is putting directly on Jalen Milroe's shoulders, which isn't fair.
Which isn't fair because let's take that Tua Tagovailoa offense and run that out with him, right? I'd love to see that Jalen Milroe team with that Tua offense, right? It would be you're talking a totally different ball game. So I think it's a unfair part of the evaluation process that happens. This happens with running backs. It happens with quarterbacks. It happens the most with quarterbacks. But when you look at it and you go, okay, it's the same. They're looking at it evenly and they're not applying the lens of the context of the roster. They're not applying the lens of the coaching change. It's a big deal that Nick Saban wasn't his coach.
Yeah, 100%.
The greatest college football coach of all time wasn't his coach. And I don't think anybody was prepared for that. It was a big deal when it happened.
Oh, yeah, when he left.
And it was an even bigger deal that Kalen DeBoer was the person that was replacing him.
Yeah.
We know because we have a lot of our friends over at the Senior Bowl who are very involved with the University of Alabama. There's a lot of conversation about this.
Yeah.
A lot of conversation about
100%. And we'll just, I guess you just kind of have to see, right? Like, and I think time will tell with that. Let's talk. I want to talk round one. And some strategy because we had multiple teams moving to the first round. And one team in particular, because people have been very critical of this guy, Atlanta Falcons GM Terry Fontenot.
Yeah.
I think he continues to just tell y'all shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Right. Because every time, because it's been over the years, right? Because I think he went on a run of Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, right? And everybody's like, man, you continue to ignore the pass rusher. You continue to ignore it. And, I think we watched part of it where they talked about it on one of his YouTube series. And he was just like, I draft the game changers, right?
Yeah,
and at the selection that we had, those were the game changers. And I'm not mad at that, right? And I think in this draft, right, they sit in the middle of the draft, Jalen Walker, who some people believe is the second best edge rusher in this draft class, who I call a Tasmanian devil.
I like that nickname. A Tasmanian devil is a great way to describe him.
He wrecks shop. They get him, and then they trade back in being aggressive, and they go get James Pierce. They go get James Pierce, who at the beginning of the season, James Pierce was a top 5 pick consensus across the board. So they walked away with 2 edge rushers. Y'all wanted to improve this defense? We went and got us 2 proven dogs that come from the SEC.
And what's been their biggest issue? for the longest time.
Getting after the quarterback.
And
he addressed it.
And not only that, but it's like, I don't know why we have this lens that we talk about where it's like, okay, the thing right behind the quarterback, most important, left tackle and then pass rusher, right? Why he not getting no credit?
Right. Yep.
Why he not getting no credit for addressing and switching off? And by the way, not having Michael Penix last year, would that have been a problem?
Right. Yep. 100%.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, everybody criticized that pick when it happened, but then you look at it now and you go,
it was smart.
It was really smart because what happened?
The future looks optimistic. And they could have been one of those teams that was sitting at pick 15 and would have had to over leverage themselves to potentially have to go get the quarterback they want. They would have been sitting in that spot
100%.
rather being in a good position where it's like, you know what, we could stick and pick, and then, oh, wait, later on in the first round, we see a guy we want, go ahead and get him. But there's about to be another hard pivot because we forgot about this conversation. We have two teams that need quarterbacks. The Cleveland Browns.
Oh, boy.
They still need a quarterback.
The Cleveland Browns forever need a quarterback, baby. They ain't never addressed that quarterback and got a good one. Oh, we got a Brownies chant starting in here, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, because he's from Ohio.
Yeah, we got Ohio in the house.
Y'all got good college football.
We got Ohio in the house. Really good at college football. Very bad at the NFL. Although,
hey, you know what they say?
Cincinnati pretty good though.
The first people to do it ain't the best to do it. That's what they say.
Cincinnati. Keith's gonna get in some off script shit talking that's going on here. Some off script shit talking.
My God, Jamil got us going. But let's get back to it. No, we were gonna talk about the Steelers, and they need a quarterback also. What should be their plan? Because I don't believe they have a second round pick.
They do not have a second round pick.
The quarterback position because you didn't take one in the first round.
What should be or what do they? What can they?
Because Cleveland is still sitting okay because they have, I think,
They got two early picks.
Yeah, like I think two of the top
Cleveland
5.
Good.
Yeah, they got like 34 and 30.
The Steelers are screwed.
Yeah. What do they do? What do you do?
I mean, do whatever you can to trade back in and get Shedeur Sanders. I mean, that's how you save this.
Okay,
I mean,
but the problem
is this by trading up, going and getting Shedeur, and I think you do it and you make a splash.
Okay, so but the math part of this.
Math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing because you're reverse engineering your situation. And what I'm saying is that you had a first round pick, no second rounder, right?
Yeah.
So you use your first round pick on the defensive tackle. Now to get a second round pick, how many picks are you going to have to give up to get the guy that you could have just got 12 picks ago?
Yeah, I mean,
you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like you're actually losing draft capital.
But you're applying logic to a non-logical situation.
But that's the issue. When has logic not been a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think.
And that's a scary part.
So here's what's going on behind the scenes, Steeler fans.
Yep.
For those of you that know, you know the Rooney family, right? The older Rooney passed away a few years ago, right? And you've got younger Rooney family involved in the decision-making. And what's going on now? You've got, for the first time ever, there was noise in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
The first time in my whole life, there was noise about Mike Tomlin losing his job. And owners are stupid. They are. Owners are dumb. They listen to the noise. They read the newspaper, and they lose their minds very easily. This happens all the time in the league. I've been a part of and been in the draft room when an owner came in and told the scouting team that they were throwing out the draft board and drafting who they wanted.
Yep.
I was in there when it happened. It happens all the time. And this is the part of this that is very difficult because behind the scenes, this happens all the time, but the owners are never held accountable. The only one that outs himself is Jerry Jones.
Right.
Regularly.
He like the camera.
He just come out on camera and tell you how the stupid shit that he's been doing. Right?
You know what he don't do though?
What he don't do?
He don't take ownership for it.
No. He just tattle on himself. Yeah. Right? We know that Jerry's doing things wrong. He doesn't take ownership of it. But he
winds up tattling on himself in an indirect way.
Yes, 100%. We're smart enough to deduct that he is tattling.
You did
it. That's you. Jerry, you're the only one that calls the shots, buddy. Yeah. Why they don't spend money in free agency, why they didn't sign Derrick Henry, those are all things that he decided. But to the Steelers, this is the first time that the noise is happening, and I get why you asked the question because it's out of character for this franchise to act like this. Yep. But fans, I will educate you on this. If you're used to things going a certain way, and all of a sudden some changes, look to ownership first. What has changed recently? And because that is more than anything, that is something that really impacts a lot of what happens on draft day that the fans are not aware of, and that puts Mike Tomlin in a tough spot because we all know Mike T and love Mike T.
Mm-hmm.
Mike T, a football guy.
Yeah, he is.
But I will say he has needed to let go of the reins on the offense for a long time.
Yeah,
and he's holding on to some old school football that ain't working anymore.
Yeah, and I'll say this, that looking at these young quarterbacks, right? And I know that Arthur Smith was with Ryan Tannehill.
Yep.
But looking at some of these young quarterbacks, if I'm Jalen Milroe, I kind of don't want to go there.
Yeah,
under
that
situation. If I'm Shedeur Sanders,
100%.
I kind of don't want to go there.
Well, Shedeur just want to get drafted at this point. Yeah. Let's be honest. Shedeur just saying, baby, please draft me. Come on.
At this point, I'm kind of like, I ain't got nothing to lose. I might start calling shots. He should just hop on Instagram Live and then call.
Shedeur, do not listen to Keith.
Name out his top 5 teams. Say these are the only
Shedeur, I can assure you that is not the right move, big dog. Do not do that.
Because he has to start tricking teams. That's what he got to start tricking teams into him being a commodity again, right? Like, y'all want me.
Yeah.
So he has to figure something out.
No, that ain't gonna work. We all know that this is a problem, right? We all know that this hasn't worked out, and Shedeur needs to just sit back, hold on for dear life, and wait for the team to call him at this point. I think it's been a tough day, and I think it's about to get tougher when another quarterback goes off the board.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. We got how many 6 minutes?
We got 6 minutes and 24 seconds until the NFL draft kicks off.
I think this is a perfect segue into it. The Cleveland Browns, we talked about it, got 2 of the top, I think, 7 picks.
Yep.
What the Cleveland Browns about to do?
They're trading back.
They're trading back.
They're trading back.
Talk to me. What you think? Like,
they're trading back. New Orleans is trading up, and they're taking a quarterback.
So Cleveland is still not getting a quarterback. Or they get one with their second.
They can get one later on.
Oh, maybe. Because they have 2.
They have 2 picks. They're trading. The first one, they're going to go back. New Orleans is going to come up, take their guy.
Breaking news, you have it here on Draft Club. We are breaking what's going to happen in less than 6 minutes. I don't mind it. I'm thinking about it. Because
he's thinking about it. He's processing right now.
At least he's processing because they're still in range to get a quarterback, right? So I guess 100%, that's why
they got 2 picks.
Yeah, they have 2 picks. So that's why I don't mind it.
Cleveland sits in a really nice spot because of that.
Yeah.
The team that doesn't sit in a good spot is Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is out of the dance right now. They're on the out. They're the girl that's not been chosen on the outside. She's sitting on the outside. That's Pittsburgh right now. They got no picks.
Yeah.
They can't even show up to the dance. They got to wait till the 3rd round. And I don't know what you're going to get in the 3rd round.
Yeah. You never want to be in a position where you can't get in, right?
No, you don't want to be in a position not to execute.
Yeah.
And that's so un-Pittsburgh-like. That's what you said. It's just unlike Pittsburgh to be able to show up and be a part of it. And look at right on time, there is Tyler on camera. Right on time in Scottsdale, Arizona, hanging out right there. That is
from Scottsdale?
I don't know. I think he played. Yeah, he played at
Chandler
or Shadow Mountain High School, I think, out in Arizona. So yeah, shout out to AZ.
Oh.
Shout out to AZ.
There's a little West Coast bias from you. Are you rooting for you?
Listen, I would not choose. I want to be very clear here, chat. Chat, do not get angry with me, chat. I would not take Shedeur Sanders. Or I would take Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. I would not take Tyler Show. I'm telling you what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
I am not. I would not do that. But that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
That's what I think would happen.
I had to ask you if you.
I know you're trying to throw me off my game here.
No, I wasn't trying.
Yeah,
I was just trying to see what.
This is what we do on the Draft Club. We just talk a little shit to each other every once in a while.
It was important we let the people know, right?
Yeah, of course.
Then we got to give them a good show.
If people don't realize that I like Shedeur by now, they haven't been paying attention or watching any of my Instagram, Twitter, or anything else. See, I was at Colorado Pro Day. I mean, shit, if you turn on NFL Network in the first 2 seconds, your girl was on camera. Right. So I don't know what else. I don't know what else you need to know.
And shout out Mel, because Mel was with us.
Shout out Mel. Shout out our producer Mel behind the scenes. Shout out our producer Mel, obviously holding it down for everybody here. And our trusty assistant, Caitlin Speck, behind the scenes. Yep. The women holding it down here, Keith. I think what we've all learned here is that Keith Sanchez is a very lucky man. Keith is a very lucky man. He's surrounded by 3 beautiful blonde women all day long and twice on Sunday. He's a lucky man. That's what I learned. That's what I learned on the chat today.
Okay.
Chat obviously agrees. Chat obviously agrees. That's all I know.
We'll have to see about that.
He laughing at us.
I don't have anything to
He's like, what do I do with this girl?
Yeah,
that's what he's thinking live.
I just say no comment. Before I get canceled. Or something like that.
No comment, baby. No comment.
You're not about to have me on the Shay plan.
No Club Shay here. Yeah, no Club Shay.
No, but so last thing.
Yeah.
Prediction. They said the stat was, ESPN just put this up. There was one quarterback that went in the past 3 rounds. Mm-hmm. I mean, one quarterback that went in the second round in the past 3 years. Do we see multiple? I know you said inside of with Tyler Shuck, do we see multiple?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Multiple quarterbacks drafted in the second round.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna get multiple.
Okay. All right.
I'm not gonna tell you who.
Okay, you got more inside information. That's great. So why you this decision with me?
Listen, I gotta save some stuff.
Okay.
I gotta save some stuff for the After Dark show.
Right.
Draft Club After Dark coming later.
Right.
We're gonna break down. That's a good tease. We're gonna pay this off later. We will be back after today.
Okay.
Okay. End of day 2. Wrapping this up, and quite frankly, this is my favorite day. Keith, I think this is your favorite day too, right?
Yeah.
Day 2.
Yep.
Day 2 is the best day. This is shout out to my boy Jordan Reed at ESPN, an OG TDN member. We call day 2 rounds 2 and 3 the money round. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta be able to draft today and draft starters because that's where GMs earn their money. It's the money rounds, baby. Let's go. I'm ready to rock. 1 minute and 55 seconds till it kicks off.
Well, let's rock then. Let's toast to it and let's be out this thing.
Yeah, shout out to Fletcher Azul.
Hey, y'all make sure to tap in with us after the draft. Let's get it.